Hey, what is going on, guys? In today's video, we're going to be taking a look at another Maschinen Kreiger model kit here. As you can see, we're going to be unboxing the Camel early version here from Hasegawa. So this is obviously a variation of the Camel model kit, and this is going to give us two types with 4 decorations and 1 figure included, and it's going to be in 1/20 scale. So hence we have this pretty large, sizable box here for this. And by 2 types, I'm guessing that means that you have the parts in here to either make it as the regular original Camel or the early type, possibly. But then I also didn't know that we had a figure included, so that's cool. That's going to be a seated pilot figure for inside the cockpit here, I believe. But some beautiful artwork here as usual. In these Hasegawa model kits, we usually don't have like the full artwork there. It's usually just the illustration of the main, of like what the kit is going to be, but that does look really nice there. We've got the Yokohama signature there, 2025 for this, and just to give you guys a nice close-up look at the illustration in some more detail. Looks really cool. Down here on the front of the box art, we do also have some information about the unit, height, length, width, also the armament. We've got the laser gun, some other information over here about the sight, radio, engine, speed, range, and armor. Flipping it down here to the bottom of the box, you can see we just got a ton of text on here. And so for anybody who's interested in wanting to read all that, I'll put this all on screen for you guys. You can pause the video and read that if you want. It's kind of separated into 3 big blocks of text. There's quite a bit. Then over here under the UPC, you can see the MSRP coming in for this one at 7,800 yen. Flipping this around to the top side of the box, and we have all that same text, but it's going to be here in the Japanese. So there's all of that. We've also got the special thanks section here as well, which is pretty cool to see. And then even the 2 short ends of the box are going to be a little bit different, with this end just giving us our kind of basic information and then having the moon penguin logo there. On the other side, we have like opposite colors with this dark red and the witch logo here on this end of the box. But all right, so let's go ahead and pop it open then and check out everything inside. It looks like here, as you can see, the kit is going to be molded all in this molded silver, which looks really nice. I've talked about that before, but the nice thing about it being molded in silver is that then if you are going to do some like reductive chipping on those parts, if you chip the paint down all the way to the plastic, it's already silver for you. You don't have to actually then paint that silver in there. So it's certainly a conscious decision there to make the plastic in that color. We do have some other bits in there too. We'll take a look through all the runners here in just a moment. In here we do also have the paint card, so I can put this in my paint card binder. This will make a very nice addition, and you can see we have a couple of different examples with some like explanation text. This one for Company Master Sergeant Johnny Watt, for example, this color scheme here. And then down here, this one for Reconnaissance Company Victory Fox Corporal Jeremy Rich. So just a couple of different paint schemes and examples and text about those here. This card is also going to be our reference for decals. So the decal guide will show you where those are all meant to go here around on the kit. And with this being a 1/20 scale kit, we do have a pretty sizable decal sheet here. Our logos down at the bottom, caution markings up here at the top. Looks like most of the caution markings and smaller markings are either going to be in black or white with a little bit of red in there, but mostly black and white. And then you can see some of the larger marking decals here. Some really cool ones on this one. I've got to say, of course, you've got a camel on there, and then some other ones there, numbering and lettering as well. All right, so aside from our instruction manual, we do also have this additional sheet of paper here, which has a little guide up at the top about how to apply the decals. And there's also a QR code to a YouTube video about applying decals as well, so I'm curious about that. I'll have to check that out later on, but we've got that. And then our main instruction manual here, everything is going to be all in black and white. You do have the paint guide listed down here at the bottom with the different colors, and you have the names of the paint there in both Japanese and in English too, so that's nice. Along with our like line art illustration here of the early version Camel. Flipping onto the inside page here, you can see is going to be our parts list, and it looks like these shaded areas are going to be parts that are not used, which is essentially just some of the polycaps, although I believe just depending on maybe which version you're making, there might be a couple of other leftover parts here and there. But let's take a look through the construction here. So we don't have anything else really much to note through the manual here other than just the construction. But you can see it does look pretty standard here. Everything appears to be in both Japanese and in English, like here where it's just saying front, do not cement, all these like little small bits of text. It's all pretty self-explanatory, I think, but I'm just trying to see if there's any other larger bits of text where it's like particularly beneficial to have it there in English for you. I mean, it's easy enough to just whip out your phone and translate that Here you can see, for example, it says to assemble these parts with order. So in like a specific order for those. Here on the next page, the assembly for the cockpit certainly looks rather complicated just because you have to put all these different hose bits in there. So it's got like the sizes and just like illustrations here. And it looks to be like pretty thorough in terms of like showing you from different angles where each hoses are meant to go where, but that's certainly going to take a few minutes to get all that sorted. I think you can see a bit more of that here on the next page as well for the cockpit there. Like so. So that is probably going to be a little bit of a challenge. Otherwise, I mean, it's all just kind of your standard, you know, sanding, seam line removal, mold line removal, stuff like that as far as the assembly goes. Here is our bit about the pilot there at the very end. So it is going to be, as I said, that seated pilot figure that's going to go inside the cockpit there. Right, so for some other bits here, it looks like in this package, we've got a couple different sizes of long black rubber tubes that we're going to have to then like cut to length and use in there. It looks very similar to what you get with any of the Grosser Hund kits. Any of the different variations of those from Hasegawa all have these similar kind of hose bits that you have to kind of wire in through the body. So that's kind of familiar. And this, you're gonna have to be very careful not to lose, as I almost lost this. And as I was pulling the parts, the runners out of the bags, I noticed this fell onto the floor. This one little package with this tiny little metal rod in there seems to be about 8 centimeters in length. Although I suppose if you did end up losing this, you could probably just replace it with a piece of pencil lead. But no, this is for one of the antennas. Gonna have to be careful not to misplace this when opening up the box. Now just going through the rest of the runners, then here is that polycap runner here in gray. We've got a good amount of those. And then this J runner here in black is gonna be in a soft rubber here, as you can see, for a bunch of those cable bits like what we saw in particular going in through the cockpit. Probably where a lot of these are gonna go. So those look pretty nice. And then interestingly enough, here molded in white is gonna be all of our parts for the pilot figure. I'm not sure I've ever seen a Maschinen Kreiger kit where the pilot figure is molded in white like this. So it's certainly unique, but we got some nice detail on there and a good size, being in 1/20 scale. Does actually look quite large. And then this clear part here, kind of like a smoky clear part for the canopy, is actually runner F. I'm gonna keep this in the bag. So this is bagged separately. I'm gonna keep that in there just to make sure that that stays nice and clean and protected, doesn't get too scratched or scuffed up or anything. And then before we get to all of the molded silver runners, we do have this one runner, which is just in a molded gray. So this is gonna be for mostly a lot of the internal parts here, it looks like. This being runner B, you can see up there in the corner. So a lot of really nice detail on some of those parts there. And then, yeah, as I said, everything else then is just here in this nice molded silver color. So here we've got 2 of this D runner for a bunch of parts, probably mostly for the legs, just considering that this is runners doubled. And you'll notice we do also have this section up here at the top of the runner with some bolts that you can slice off of here in order to add those bolt details onto different parts there. So you've got the bolts just kind of molded on the runner as normal there. Then you've also got these ones that you can just slice off of this like flat bit of plastic there. Runner C then is going to be some more of the mechanical bits here, probably for a lot of the parts that are just going to be going around on the body, including this very long radar fin here, it looks like. So again, some nice detail on those. And then our big parts, runner A and E. Runner E is just this one here with like the 2 halves of like the cockpit there. And then runner A obviously has the largest of the parts here for the body, the 2 big halves of the chassis basically, and then a few other bits on there. Again, some really nice detail on the inside. It looks super cool. And so that's it for the video for now, guys. Hope you enjoyed taking a look through this kit. I'm not gonna be building this up right away, but just wanted to share that with you guys. I do really like the design of the Camel, and I have both the original version and the early version. I believe I already have an unboxing video out for the regular version as well, so you can check that out if you're interested. But yeah, I do really like the design. Definitely looking forward to building this guy up at some point, but for the meantime, just the unboxing. And if you guys want to check out some more mecha models, paints, tools, and supplies, and all that good stuff, you know, you can check the link in the video description to USA Gundam Store. Not a whole lot of Maschinen Kreiger stuff like this there on the site, but lots of great paints, tools, supplies, and all that stuff, as I said. So check that out. But stay tuned here on the channel. There will definitely be plenty more Maschinen Kreiger content in the future. Make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss that. And if you enjoyed the video here today, of course, make sure to leave a like as well. I really appreciate your guys' support. Thank you so much, and I'll see y'all later. Bye, guys.